Let's start first with this interview. In Time magazine, Donald Trump named Person of the Year this year. What did he have to say? How much detail did he give here about pharmaceuticals?
So it wasn't very detailed. It was two sentences, basically, that said he's going to bring down drug prices, and he doesn't like where drug prices, what's happened with them.
Remind us of what was happening going into the election. You had Hillary Clinton, who did speak about this quite a bit. She tweeted about it. She made known that it was her opinion that drug prices had to be curbed. That's her history. What was his history on the campaign trail?
He didn't really get into the details on the campaign history, during the campaign, excuse me. And that's kind of why, after the election, the market kind of surged under him. Two ideas he did back. Was reimportation of drugs from foreign countries, such as Canada, as well as renegotiating Medicare Part D directly with drug companies. Two ideas which Republicans have long opposed and the drug industry has long opposed.
Remind us of the market reaction since his election. I alluded to it there. I mean, there were some wild swings here, and a lot of investor hope rested in pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it was high. The market did move up. But since then, should point out that a couple CEOs, including Brent Saunders of Allergan, have come out and said, hold up, Donald Trump could be more, quote, vicious than Hillary Clinton with regards to this because of his power and command on Twitter. And so I think we saw a little bit of that today. Which he didn't name a specific company, obviously, but Brent actually then went online and tweeted, what happens if he goes after a specific drug price?
We saw that with Boeing yesterday, of course. I wonder if the sort of X factor here as well is that the policies are kind of inchoate when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to pharmaceuticals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is this kind of fluidity there. If you talk to investors and you talk to analysts, when it comes to Donald Trump and drug pricing itself, there is a sense of unpredictability. He did appoint to HHS, or he's going to appoint Tom Price, Republican from Georgia, who has actually come out in the past in opposition to renegotiating directly or direct negotiation with Medicare Part D prices. So kind of if he appoints someone who opposed what he had wanted, it is kind of unclear going forward.
What has happened since the testimony that we saw some months ago now about the EpiPen? There was a lot of outrage. I remember talking to Senator Chuck Grassley about the need to do something. He was unclear at that point about what that something might be. When you look at drug prices now and what could be done, what seems most logical, what seems like the most likely thing to happen policy-wise in Washington?
Well, it's interesting. The Medicare negotiation, some people do believe that is the next step. I mean, let's remember that for the last 18 months, the drug industry has really kind of been through, kind of these tough criticism, basically. You mentioned Mylan, Valiant Pharmaceuticals is another one, Martin Shkreli. These are all kind of the build-up to kind of where we are right now. As the next step, the Mylan hearing was actually postponed. There was supposed to be a hearing on that, some more testimony, and where that is, I guess we have to see.
Help us with the basic mathematics here, and maybe it's more art than science, but how are these drugs priced? When you see a change to drug pricing, how much effort goes into doing that? How arbitrary are the numbers that these companies come up with?
Well, arbitrary might not be one way to code, but it is a process, I guess, but with it's years of research. Some of these kind of things that go into it, not only market research, but competitive pricing and stuff like that. You do see there's pharmacy benefit managers, the PBMs, there's the insurers. It's very opaque though. So the pricing that when we're talking about is the list price that is out there, that is public. But that's not the actual price that the patient or the consumer pays at the cash register. That's what's different, and unlike obviously the rest of the world, we do not in America regulate drug prices, so it is kind of fluctuating.
Just last question here, in light of the controversy surrounding Mylan, have we seen other companies adjust, recognize the fact that there is an outcry, a populist outcry of some sort about the price of drugs, and they need to explain their position more clearly, do more to explain their pricing mechanisms?
Well, Novo Nordisk came out recently, their CEO, and has said they're going to cap pricing. And Brent Saunders of Allergan has given a sort of pricing pledge to cap pricing as well. Some other companies have kind of come out and defended their pricing as well. Ken Frazier of Merck has said that they've restrained their pricing. We saw an interesting thing last week, actually, at a healthcare conference. Pfizer CEO and Regeneron CEO kind of sparring over drug pricing and kind of why their reputation in the world could be improved. And basically, the Regeneron CEO had said, he accused his brethren here in the pharma industry of raising prices to lack innovation. And Pfizer obviously disagreed on that.